Simplicity often carries the deepest charm, and nothing reflects this better than a rustic wooden box planter. Imagine holding old pallet wood, rough and weathered, once used for shipping crates or storage. Most would see waste, but in your hands, it becomes the beginning of something new. The process is both simple and rewarding. Cut the wood into even planks, sand them gently but leave some of the natural grain and marks. It's the imperfections that tell the story. Nail or screw the planks together to form a sturdy box, lining the inside with a small plastic sheet if you want to protect the wood. Already, what was once discarded has taken shape as a vessel of life. Fill the box with soil, dark and rich, then add your chosen plants. Bright flowers spill over the edges. Herbs rise in fragrant greens, and succulents nestle quietly in the corners. Place on a balcony, in a garden, or even by a sunny window, and suddenly the space feels warmer, more alive. For children, it's a lesson in transformation. Old will become a new home for growth. For adults, it's a reminder that beauty lies in simplicity and care. Every crack in the wood, every bloom rising above, tells a story of renewal. This DIY is more than just a planter. It is an act of creativity, a small rebellion against waste, and a celebration of nature. Every time you water the plants and see them thrive, you'll feel the quiet satisfaction of knowing you built not only a container, but also a corner of peace. Walls are often overlooked, yet they hold endless potential. With a little creativity, even reclaimed wood can transform into a planter that decorates and gives life to your space. The hanging wooden frame planter is more than just a craft. It's a way to bring greenery onto your walls. The process starts with cutting wood into equal lengths, assembling them into a square or rectangular frame. Sand the edges but leave the natural grains and imperfections, because that rustic texture is what makes the design warm and authentic. Once the frame is ready, attach small pots or holders inside, either with hooks or a simple shelf ledge. Suddenly, the frame is not just wood, it's a gallery for plants. Fill the pots with vibrant flowers, calming herbs, or even trailing vines that spill gracefully over the edges. Hang the frame on your balcony wall, living room, or garden fence, and the space is instantly transformed. The combination of wood and greenery feels timeless, rustic yet elegant, simple yet impactful. For children, it sparks wonder at how plants can climb walls. For adults, it's a statement piece that blends sustainability with style. Each frame tells its own story, and when grouped together in sets, they become a vertical garden, breathing life into even the smallest of spaces. This DIY is not just about recycling wood. It's about creating harmony, a balance between the rough strength of wood and the delicate softness of plants. Every glance at the frame reminds you that beauty is not found in perfection, but in how we give new purpose to what was once forgotten. When space is limited, creativity finds a way to multiply it. A tiered wooden pot stand is the perfect example of how design can turn small corners into thriving gardens. By stacking levels upward, you don't just save space, you create a display that celebrates both wood and greenery. The process begins with reclaimed or scrap wood, cut into pieces that form 3 or more steps. Each tier is wide enough to hold 1 or several pots. Sand the wood lightly, keeping its natural imperfections for a rustic look. Secure the tiers with nails or screws, ensuring strength to carry the weight of your plants. In no time, you have a structure that resembles a staircase, but one designed for life, not for feet. Place pots of different sizes and colors on each step. Flowers that burst with color, herbs for the kitchen, or succulents for easy care. The tier design allows every plant to shine without overshadowing the others. It's not just practical, it's artistic, turning plants into a vertical showcase. For children, the stand becomes a ladder of discovery, where each step holds a new surprise. For adults, it offers a clever way to organize and beautify a balcony, patio, or indoor corner. Whether painted in soft pastels, rustic browns, or left natural, the wooden stand adds charm and character to any space. This DIY is more than just carpentry. It's about balance between height and depth, simplicity and beauty, nature and craftsmanship. Every time you water the plants, you'll see how wood and greenery together can create harmony. And in that harmony lies the magic of sustainable design, practical, beautiful, and kind to the earth. Sometimes the simplest shapes carry the most charm. A wooden crate planter box proves that beauty lies in function. Strong, rustic, and practical, it transforms old wooden pallets or planks into a container for life. With just a few cuts and nails, what was once discarded becomes a garden centerpiece. The project begins with measuring and cutting wood into equal panels. 4 sides of the base come together to form a crate, sturdy, straightforward, and full of potential. Leave the wood raw for a rustic farmhouse feel, or sand and paint it for a polished look. Handles can be added for mobility, making it easy to shift the planter to catch sunlight or decorate a new corner. Fill the box with soil and plant vibrant flowers, calming herbs, or even vegetables. On a patio, it becomes a mobile garden. In a balcony, it turns concrete into a green sanctuary. Indoors, it doubles as rustic decor, blending charm and practicality. Children love helping fill the soil and watch seeds sprout inside the crate. Adults appreciate how easy and versatile the design is. Light enough to move, strong enough to last, and stylish enough to match any space. Group several crates together, and suddenly you have a modular garden, endlessly customizable. This DIY is more than building a box. It's about framing life, giving plants a stage to shine. Every crate whispers of sustainability and creativity, showing that nature and will belong together. Each time you water the plants, you're reminded that beauty doesn't come from perfection. It comes from purpose, care, and imagination. Nature itself often provides the best canvas. A rustic log planter is not just a pot. It's a piece of the forest brought into your garden or home. By using an old fallen log or reclaimed wood, you honor nature's cycle while creating something both functional and beautiful. The process begins with a solid log, cut to size. A hollow is carved carefully into its center, deep enough to hold soil, yet leaving the bark intact. Each groove and crack in the wood tells a story of time. Sun, rain, and wind, all shaping its character. The rustic texture makes every planter unique, no two alike. Fill the hollow with soil and plant bright flowers, herbs, or even trailing vines that spill gracefully over the edges. The rough bark contrasts beautifully with delicate petals and soft greenery. Place it on a garden path, where it blends seamlessly with the landscape, or bring it indoors as a natural centerpiece, bridging the wild with your living space. Children marvel at how a piece of wood becomes a garden of its own, while adults find calm in its simplicity. A log planter needs little embellishment. Its charm lies in its rawness, its unpolished beauty. You can treat the wood for longevity or leave it natural, letting it age gracefully alongside the plants it holds. This DIY goes beyond recycling. It is about respecting what nature leaves behind and giving it a second life. Every plant that grows from a log feels rooted not only in soil, but in history. In the quiet presence of a rustic log planter, you are reminded that beauty doesn't always need to be crafted. It often already exists, waiting for you to see it. Design often speaks in shapes, and with geometric wooden planters, your space becomes both modern and warm. Unlike rustic log planters that embrace raw nature, these pots celebrate precision, clean lines, sharp edges, and the balance of symmetry. A hexagon, a cube, or even a triangle cut from simple wooden boards becomes a stage for plants to shine. The process begins with carefully measured cuts. Each piece of wood is trimmed into equal sides, then joined together to form striking geometric forms. Sanding the edges smooth brings out the elegance of the shape, while a natural wood finish highlights its grain. For a modern twist, paint one side in white, black, or bold colors, letting geometry and contrast speak together. Placed on a desk, these planters hold succulents that thrive in minimal care, or small cacti that stand proudly within the wooden shapes. On a balcony, a row of geometric planters becomes a modern display, like sculptures alive with greenery. Indoors, they blend perfectly with minimalist or Scandinavian interiors, proving that plants and design belong hand in hand. Children are drawn to the shapes, stacking them like blocks before realizing they are homes for living plants. Adults admire the precision, the sense of order they bring to a chaotic world. These planters are more than containers. They are statements. Each one says, design can be sustainable, stylish, and deeply personal. In crafting them, you learn that geometry is not only about math, It is about harmony. Angles and edges, softened by leaves and flowers, remind us that balance is beautiful. With every cut and joint, you are not just making a pot. You are shaping a piece of modern nature, where creativity and order meet gracefully. Walls are often overlooked, yet they hold endless potential. With wooden wall-mounted planters, you transform empty vertical space into a living garden. This design is more than decoration. It's a solution for those with little room, but big dreams of greenery. The process begins with a sturdy wooden board or frame. Small wooden boxes or half-log planters are crafted and securely attached, each one ready to cradle soil and life. The layout is yours to choose: rows for symmetry, clusters for charm, or stagger for a playful flow. Once mounted on the wall, what was once blank becomes alive, breathing with plants. Fill each pocket with herbs like basil, parsley, or rosemary, turning your kitchen wall into a living pantry. Or choose trailing plants, ivy, potholes, or string of pearls that cascade gracefully, softening the sharpness of the wood. Indoors, these wall planters bring nature into your living room, bedroom, or even hallway. Outdoors, they turn fences and balconies into vertical gardens, lush and vibrant. Children marvel as the wall grows, surprised to see plants not in pots on the ground but blooming from the wall itself. Adults appreciate the harmony of design and function, the way greenery cleans the air while saving space. Each wooden box, simple yet strong, becomes part of a larger picture, where wood and leaves dance together in quiet elegance. This DIY is more than clever storage. It is a philosophy that even small spaces can bloom, that nature belongs not just in fields, but in every corner of our homes. With every plant that grows on a wall, you are reminded that life always finds room, and creativity always finds a way to make space beautiful. Sometimes nature leaves us gifts, an old tree stump, weathered and forgotten. Yet with imagination, it can be reborn as a tree stump planter, where life grows from what once stood still. This DIY is about honoring the past of the wood, while giving it a new purpose. The process begins with the stump itself. Using tools, you hollow out the center carefully, creating a natural bowl without losing the rough, textured bark that tells its story. Each crack, each ring of the wood whispers of years gone by. Once the cavity is ready, it becomes a cradle for soil, ready to hold plants. You may choose bright flowers, marigolds, petunias, or geraniums that burst with color against the rustic bark. Or perhaps trailing vines that spill over the edges, softening the lines with gentle green cascades. In shaded gardens, moss and ferns create a woodland feel, turning the stump into a fairy tale scene. Placed along a garden path, a stump planter feels at home, blending seamlessly with grass and earth. Children see it as magical, imagining tiny creatures living within. Adults pause to admire how something once lifeless now blooms again. It is recycling not just in function, but in spirit, giving life back to wood that once held it. This craft is more than design. It is a reminder of cycles. What once was a towering tree now becomes a base for new growth. What seemed like the end becomes beginning. A tree stump planter carries both memory and renewal, reminding us that beauty lies not in perfection, but in transformation. And in every leaf that grows, the stump whispers a truth. Life always finds a way to return. Sometimes beauty comes in the smallest forms. A wooden cube succulent pot is simple, elegant, and endlessly charming, a perfect balance of nature and design. With its clean lines and warm wood texture, it turns even the tiniest plant into a centerpiece. The making begins with cutting blocks of wood into neat cubes, each side equal and balanced. A hole is carefully drilled or carved at the top, just deep enough to cradle soil and a tiny succulent. The cube is sanded smooth, its surface glowing with natural wood grain. You may leave it raw for rustic charm, polish it with oil for warmth, or paint one face white for a modern touch. Once the succulent is placed inside, a rosette-shaped echeveria, a spiky aloe, or a trailing string of pearls, the cube becomes alive. Small yet striking, it fits perfectly on a desk, windowsill, or bedside table. Children see them as tiny gardens and boxes, while adults admire their minimalism, a reminder that design doesn't need to be complex to be beautiful. Arrange several cubes together, and they create a miniature forest of shapes and greens. Each cube can tell a different story. painted in colors to match your mood or left natural to celebrate with quiet grace. They bring freshness to spaces often forgotten, the corner of an office desk, the shelf above books, or the bathroom sink. This DIY is more than just a pot. It is a philosophy. Small things matter. A cube of wood, a pinch of soil, and a resilient succulent remind us that beauty can be compact yet complete. And in every leaf that grows, the wooden cube whispers. Simplicity is not emptiness. It is elegance distilled to its essence. Some crafts feel like stepping back in time. A wooden wagon planter carries with it the charm of old country life, where carts once rolled through fields carrying goods and harvests. Today, that same spirit can live again, this time carrying flowers and greenery, bringing rustic beauty to your garden. The build starts with a simple wooden box, sturdy enough to hold soil and plants. For wheels are crafted from round wood pieces and attached with dowels, making the wagon stand proudly. A handle can be added, not for pulling, but as a decorative touch that completes the rustic look. When filled with bright blooms, geraniums, daisies, or trailing ivy, the wagon transforms. It is no longer just wood. It is a moving garden, frozen in place yet alive with color. Placed on a patio, beside a pathway, or under a tree, it becomes a centerpiece, drawing eyes and sparking conversations. Children are drawn to it immediately, imagining it as a toy cart filled with treasures. Adults smile at its nostalgia, remembering simpler days where wooden wagons were part of daily life. The contrast of rough wood and delicate flowers creates a story, strength and fragility living side by side. This DIY is more than just planting, it is storytelling. The wagon becomes a symbol of journeys, of carrying life forward. It teaches that even scraps of wood can be shaped into something that holds not just plants, but meaning. Every time you water the flowers inside, the wagon whispers softly. Beauty can roll through time, and with creativity, even the past can bloom again in your garden. There is something timeless about a wooden bucket, once used to carry water or harvest. Today it can be reborn as a rustic wooden bucket planter, a symbol of vintage charm turned into a vessel of life. Its round form, sturdy build, and warm with grain bring an old-world beauty to any space. The making begins with planks curved into a circular shape, bound together with nails or even metal bands for authenticity. A handle can be added for a classic look, though it serves more as a touch of nostalgia than function. Inside, a layer of soil transforms it instantly into a home for flowers, herbs, or trailing greens. Placed on a patio, garden path, or balcony, the wooden bucket planter feels like a piece of history resting quietly, yet blooming anew. Bright flowers like geraniums or daisies burst from the bucket, their colors contrasting with the deep earthy tones of the wood. For a rustic farmhouse style, even simple green herbs inside the bucket create a cozy, inviting feel. Children see it as something from fairy tales, a bucket carrying magic rather than water. Adults admire its sturdiness, its link to the past, its story carried in the grain and knots of the wood. It blends seamlessly into rustic or cottage-style gardens, adding character and warmth. This DIY is more than planting. It is about preserving tradition. A wooden bucket that once served with strength now served with beauty, teaching us that nothing truly loses purpose. It only transforms. And in every bloom rising from its rim, the bucket whispers gently. Old can be beautiful, and the past can always grow into the present. Not all ladders are meant to climb. Some are built to hold life. A wooden ladder planter is a clever way to bring vertical beauty into small spaces, transforming a simple object into a display of greenery and blooms. Its charm lies in its creativity. Something ordinary becoming extraordinary with just a touch of imagination. The making is simple yet rewarding. Take an old wooden ladder or build a new one from sturdy planks. Each step becomes a shelf, ready to hold pots of plants. You can secure wooden trays or small boxes to the steps, creating spaces for herbs, flowers, or succulents. Sand the surface, leave it rustic, or paint it in fresh colors to match your style. Place against a wall, in a balcony corner, or along a garden fence. The ladder planter rises gracefully, showcasing plants in layers. Bright marigolds at the bottom, trailing ivy on the middle steps, and small succulents at the top, each level telling its own story. The effect is both organized and playful, a mini vertical garden that saves space while multiplying beauty. Children enjoy climbing close to see each plant at different heights, while adults admire how practical and decorative it feels. For small homes or apartments, it's a perfect solution, bringing greenery upward when space outward is limited. This DIY is not just about planting, but about perspective. It teaches that growth doesn't always need to spread wide. It can also rise. A wooden ladder, once used for work, now carries life, reminding us that creativity can climb just as high as we dare imagine. A wheelbarrow once carried soil and stone, built for labor and strength. Today, it can be reborn in miniature as a wooden wheelbarrow planter, carrying not heavy loads but flowers, herbs, and beauty. Its form is timeless, simple, sturdy, and full of rustic charm. The process begins with crafting a small wooden box, strong enough to hold soil and plants. Two handles extend from the back, while a single front wheel, made of wood for authenticity, is added to complete the cart's classic look. Sanding and staining the wood reveal its natural warmth, while painting offers a playful twist for those who prefer brighter decor. Once filled with plants, the wheelbarrow comes to life. Bright daisies spill cheerfully over the sides. Herbs grow fresh and green, and vines trail gracefully down its edges. Placed at the entrance of the garden, on a patio, or even beside a walkway, it becomes both a planter and a statement piece. Children see it as a magical cart, imagining it carrying treasures beyond flowers. Adults admire its nostalgia, recalling simpler times when wooden carts were part of everyday life. It brings a sense of storytelling into the garden, as though the plants themselves are on a journey, carried by this rustic vessel. This DIY is more than a planter. It is heritage turned into art. It teaches us that objects once made for work can find new life and beauty, and that creativity often blooms in repurposing the old. In every flower that rises from its wooden bed, the wheelbarrow whispers softly. Life doesn't always need to move forward to have meaning. Sometimes it blooms best when it rests, carrying beauty instead of burden. In old farmhouses, troughs once held water for animals or grain for storage. Today, with a touch of imagination, they can be reborn as rustic wooden trough planters, long, simple, and full of charm. They carry the spirit of the countryside, bringing both function and beauty into modern spaces. The making begins with planks of wood assembled into a long, narrow box. The design is straightforward, yet its strength lies in its simplicity. You can leave the wood raw to highlight its rustic grain, or stain it for a polished farmhouse look. Handles at the ends add both authenticity and practicality, making it easy to move. Once filled with soil, the trough becomes a canvas for plants. Herbs like rosemary, thyme, and basil thrive inside, making the planter both decorative and useful for the kitchen. Flowers such as geraniums or petunias bring a burst of color, while trailing ivy softens its edges. Whether on a porch, balcony, or garden fence, the trough planter instantly feels at home. Children see it as a garden box waiting to be explored, while adults admire its vintage charm and practicality. It is not just a pot, it is a bridge between old and new, between utility and artistry. The long shape makes it perfect for small spaces, where one planter can hold many plants in harmony. This DIY teaches us that beauty doesn't always come from complexity. Sometimes, it is the most functional designs that become timeless. A trough once meant for animals now becomes a home for flowers, herbs, and greenery. And in every sprout rising from its wooden bed, the planter whispers, simplicity is abundance, and the past can always bloom again. Wood is more than material. It is a canvas. A carved wooden pot transforms an ordinary planter into a work of art, blending craftsmanship and nature into one living sculpture. Every line etched into the wood carries the maker's hand, every curve telling a story of patience and creativity. The process begins with a simple wooden pot or block. With carving tools in hand, patterns emerge, swirling vines, geometric shapes, or floral motifs. Each stroke cuts into grain, revealing lighter wood beneath the surface, creating contrast and depth. No two pots are ever the same. Each carries a unique signature of its maker. Once carved, the pot can be polished with natural oils to enhance its patterns, or left raw for a more rustic, hand-hewn feel. planted with vibrant greenery. The contrast becomes striking. Soft living leaves rising from a vessel marked by intricate human touch. On a patio, it becomes a centerpiece, admired for its detail and originality. Indoors, it feels like a piece of art, sitting on shelves or tables where design meets nature. Children are often drawn to trace the patterns with their fingers, while adults admire the dedication in each carving. This DIY is not just decoration, it is meditation. Each carve, each line, is an act of focus and creativity. It teaches us that beauty doesn't need speed. It grows slowly, like the plants it holds. In every carved groove, the pot whispers. Nature and art are not separate. Together, they flourish, turning even the simplest into something that breathes both life and meaning. Nature often holds the most beautiful designs, and the wooden bark planter is proof of that. Instead of smooth and polished wood, this pot celebrates rawness, the rough edges of tree bark, the textures that forests wear proudly. It is rustic, wild, and authentic, carrying the charm of the woods into your home. The process is simple, but deeply satisfying. A wooden pot or base is chosen, and natural bark, collected carefully without harming living trees, is layered and attached around the surface. Each piece of bark is different, some dark, some light, some patterned with age. Together, they form a natural mosaic, earthy and organic. Moss can be added in between the bark, creating the look of something born in the forest. Polished edges keep it functional, but the raw outer texture tells a story of untamed beauty. When paired with leafy plants or colorful flowers, the contrast is striking. Living greenery growing from a vessel that feels like part of the forest floor. Placed on a balcony, it feels like a piece of woodland brought home. Indoors, it adds warmth and rustic charm, perfect for cozy or bohemian interiors. Children touch it curiously, tracing the grooves of the bark, while adults admire its authenticity. No two planters ever look the same. This DIY is more than just crafting. It is a celebration of imperfections, of nature's raw artistry. It teaches that beauty doesn't need polish. It already exists, waiting to be noticed. In every crack of bark and every patch of moss, the planter whispers, life is wild, raw, and beautiful. And with your hands, you can bring that beauty home.